My laptop's left hinge is broken, so I've sent it for repair. So we're gonna have to live without a laptop for a while, but we can still improvise. I have two phones. Disclaimer, I am not a safety, workwear, or PP professional, so if I say something wrong, please fact check me in the comment section. Persona wise, I am a dinosaur wearing an orange hard hat and a reflective vest. I've always yapped about buses, trains, bus routes on YouTube, but I have literally never recorded a video talking about the thing that I wear on my head. I mean, I can be good at explaining this or that. I'm not good at drawing. I don't even have any real talent apart from like memorizing past and present day bus routes. So the whole I collect and learn about hard hat thing, it's pretty much just a hobby that I enjoy, that I've never really talked about up till today. I know I'm an outsider, but from what I've seen in Singapore, the term safety helmet is used in Singapore very, very loosely. Like most people in Singapore consider traditional hard hats helmets. The local definition might have some form of political correctness in it. Like calling these helmets is not wrong, but to me, a hard hat is literally just a shell and a suspension. Maybe it's just a personal thing. Though I do acknowledge that one possible reason why they call these helmets in Singapore is probably because most people, not all, but most people who work in construction or even the industrial estates or even factory workers, they tend to be foreign workers. And when you want to teach them English, the word helmet is more impressionable as opposed to hard hat because the term hard hat to non native English speakers might feel a little bit ambiguous. So, all in all, I just think it's mostly for clarity, if anything. This might also probably be your first video that you've watched, like a hard hat video that isn't narrated by a stereotypical masculine guy with like some deep sounding voice or anything. But honestly, it doesn't matter. Anyone can wear them. And you might be asking, why do I need these? It's because my home, Japan, is prone to earthquakes, natural disasters. Pretty self explanatory. So I kind of buy these for fun, but they also serve a purpose. I mean, whether you're a guy or girl, or if you happen to be non-binary, you might spend money on fashion. But literally, this is my fashion. This gray hard hats brand is Ubest. I don't know if this is a Singapore or Malaysian brand because typically most cheap mass-produced hard hats, they're usually from Singapore or Malaysia, like the ones you could find in hardware stores. The hardware stores in Singapore, they used to sell the hard hat brand named Denso, and then it was discontinued in like the mid 2010s or something, and then they moved on to selling other brands like Master, and then there's even one that's called A69 Setsko approved SS98. Yes, that is his actual model name. And I think this brand, Ubest, recently debuted, I think a few years ago. I cannot remember exactly when. The problem is that because the brand, the hard hat brand Master was like very widely sold, the hardware stores, they literally bought like a whole load of suspensions that was only meant for like Master hard hats. So the stores that didn't manage to sell all of their dansos and still had a couple of them still lying around, they actually fitted the master suspension onto the dansos. And not only that, when the hardware stores switched from selling master hard hats to A69 hard hats and then moved on to sell this UBES hard hat, so it basically results in every single hard hat, regardless of brand, coming with master suspensions. I know it's a little hard to see, but here you go. Because I'm not exactly sure if the master suspensions were designed with the previous brand like Denso in mind, or if future hard hat brands like A69 and UBES, like whether they were designed with this compatibility with the master suspension in mind. So all in all, it actually fits. But the problem is that like it may not give you the best overall fit or the perfect fit. Cause I remember when the master brand hard hats didn't exist, all the Dancer hard hats, correct me if I'm wrong, actually came with their own suspension. Cause from my own experiences, only owning a Dancer hard hat in the past, like in 2015, it was actually one of the last batches that actually used the that were ever produced and actually used Denso's like own suspension. Problem with Denso's suspension is that it was flimsy, and this part over here, I'm not sure if it's like constructed properly or anything, but over time it actually like caved in. Like this thing would actually like just slide all the way in. Like all in all, Denso's suspension was just really flimsy. And then when you don't have the perfect fit or anything, like just because it actually fits doesn't mean it's like actually perfect. Again, I'm not expecting much from a cheaply mass produced hard hat brand, especially the suspension. I think some people might think differently, but to me at least, the master suspension is not comfortable at all. So at the back of the suspension, if I zoom in, you could see there are numbers here, right? This standardized like master suspension actually accommodates like hit sizes from 53 centimeters to 62 centimeters. And I set it all the way to 62. But yet when I actually wore it, it was still kind of tight. What you're looking for is a snug fit and not necessarily a really tight fit to the point whereby you're uncomfortable, especially wearing for prolonged periods of time, like for hours. Even at the maximum settings, it's still very tight to me. But maybe it's just one of those things whereby the more you wear it, the more it'll naturally loosen, just like your shoes or something. So, for any one of you that doesn't know, this is what you call a Pinlock suspension. Like you adjust it by sliding left and right. This one is a ratchet suspension where you adjust the tightness by turning the knob, either clockwise or anti-clockwise. I know it's a little bit hard to demonstrate it, but you get it. So I still find this like really tight, even at the maximum settings. Maybe it's just me, but I just find this suspension, again, it's a cheap one. I just find it like kind of uncomfortable. This hard hat is from year 2024. It has been sitting in the store for like almost 2 years. And I think because of like improper storage, like they stored it in the outdoors. Not really the outdoors, but it's like half outdoors and half indoors. Like the sun is actually shining on it. And when you expose it to like heat and stuff like that, the weather, the elements, like it's a cheap brand, like when you smell it from outside, you wouldn't really smell anything, but when you smell it from inside, there is actually this kind of like really weird plastic smell. Like, unless I take out the suspension, which isn't the easiest thing to do, especially for this kind of hard hat whereby it's already embedded in. Like, it's easy to put it in, but it's not easy to take it out. Like, unless I take it out, I don't really know if the smell comes from the suspension or from the shell, like the interior section. Then you might be wondering, did I actually ask the shop owner for like the hard hat's date of manufacture? The truth is, I don't, and I don't need to. You can actually tell it really easily. I mean, most hard hat brands, I mean, not all of them, but again, from experience, they actually have this thing. So this thing denotes the year. Okay. All right. So you can see there's like 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26, right? That actually corresponds to the year of manufacture. So in this case, it's 2021 to 2026. And you look at which, you look at where the arrow is actually pointing at. So it's 2024. And then on the other end of the brim of the hard hat. Okay, let me see if I can. Okay. Now this one actually corresponds to the months, like from January to December. And this is actually, it's pointing towards 4, so it's April 2024. And then there are other safety labels as well. And there is also this arrow thingy. Don't ask me about this, I am not an expert. So yeah, Singapore Test Lab, SS98 listed. And then this is the STL logo. And usually most Singaporean and Malaysian hard hat manufacturers, they would paste this sticker at the back of the hard hat. So you could read it for yourself, but it basically tells you not to modify or remove any of the original components of the hat and not to fit stuff onto the hat that is not recommended by the manufacturer, and not to apply paint or any of the other things listed there. But usually it just comes with a brief description on what the hard hat is supposed to do, like what it actually protects you from. I don't really see it all the time, but more often than not, they would actually paste the brand's sticker. And sometimes I do see the hardware stores actually get it wrong. Like they actually accidentally, I'm not sure if it was like intentional or not, but they actually pasted like Denso stickers onto A69 hard hats. Consumers might not be able to tell the difference, but I definitely know how to tell the difference. Again, apologies if my words sound choppy or anything, because as you guys know, this video is completely unscripted. Again, it's cheaply mass produced, so I'm not gonna expect too much from it. Like this literally costs like just $7.50. It's quite hard to show the difference in height between these two hard hats, but you could tell that, again, because of the difference in height of the suspensions, but Denso hard hats are actually taller. My orange one is a Denso fitted with a master suspension. I know it's quite hard to see the difference, but essentially, but the U-Best hard hat, the gray one, actually sits higher on your head, even though it's not as tall as the Denso hard hat, but the Denso hard hat actually sits lower on your head because the suspension it's like more of being pushed inside. So even though the danso sits lower on your head, it's still taller. Like I'm just talking about like the shell height. So again, suspension wise, this one sits higher, this one sits lower on your head. But if you're just talking about like the shell height, this one is taller and this one is shorter. Again, I love the look of this hard hat personally. I like the height of it. But I think it's fair to say that one possible reason why they eventually discontinued the production of the Denso hard hat is because of its height. So it's not really compact enough, and it ends up taking up more space in your bag. Whereas this is way more compact. And not only is it more compact, the one advantage of the Ubest hard hat is that it has this rivet over here, which the Danso or the Master and Ace, all of these three models don't have, but the newer Ubest model actually has it. So if you wanted to attach, say, a face shield on the Danso hard hat, you would have to attach it through this little hole. Whereas, because this one actually has a rivet, um, whatever you attach on the hard hat itself would actually be more stable as opposed to attaching it here. So with this, you could attach a chin strap, and you could also attach whatever you want to attach here. Most hard hats, especially the cheaply produced ones, they actually do not come with a chin strap and you have to buy them separately. Like one common chin strap is this one. It doesn't really have like a chin pad or anything, but this is like one simple chin strap. And then this one is the hook in which you would attach it to this hole. Although why they decided to call this this word over here, HAMESS, HAMES, how do you even say it? I've literally never come across this word. We usually don't call it that. We call it like suspension, and then obviously we call this a chin strap. Like, I don't know which part is actually referring to. I'm assuming it's the suspension, but we don't even use that word. Now for my danso. Now, you don't tell that a hard hat is a danso based on the sticker attached behind. You tell that it is a danso if it has this imprint on it. So this is a legit danso hard hat. Now, as opposed to my other hard hat, this is actually the old style. So as you can see, this hard hat has already expired. I can still wear it, but obviously I am not able to wear this to, say, a legitimate construction site or anywhere that has a potential hazard of like falling objects or stuff like that. And correct me if I'm wrong, the old design is basically first quarter, second, third, fourth quarter of the year. And this one is actually first quarter, which is like January, February, March, April. There is no sticker inside because I took it off, and there is no red oval Danso logo because I took it off as well. Believe it or not, this may look like a typical hard hat, but this one is actually really, really rare in Singapore right now. In this, like rare in the sense that you're not able to find it in, I think, 99% of hardware stores in Singapore right now. So it's not rare in the sense that like, oh, many people own it or a few people own it, but it's rare in the sense that you're not able to find it anymore because the production has stopped, like for this model has stopped. Master hard hats are actually flatter at the top as compared to Denso hard hats. So again, this is a Denso hard hat. Densos are taller, whereas Masters are like flatter. And not only that, um, Masters tend to be a lot wider when it comes to like width in general. Okay, not really wider, but like rounder at least, like at the brim. Like the curvature of the front brim basically helps you determine whether it's a Danso or a Master. And not only that, but it's also the thickness of the brim as well. The Danso's brim is actually a bit thinner as compared to like the Master's one. Because when I just hold the hard hat like this part actually feels lighter, whereas the Master one actually looks, I mean, it feels heavier and bulkier as well. This one is an Ace 69. Yes, Denso, Master, and Ace, they look identical, but there are ways to actually tell them apart. Like the wideness, the roundness, and this part, like the rain gutter, it the shape of it is like a little different. And then this middle central ridge part actually caves out, like pops out a lot more as compared to Master or Denso. And unlike the Ace 69, the Denso, like the middle ridge, it's actually a lot flatter as you can see. The front brim and the rain gutter, it's also slightly different as well. Oh, by the way, this thing is called a rain gutter. Not all hard hats have rain gutters, some don't. And then it's also a little different here as well. This one is a Pyromax hard hat from Australia, I believe. So obviously design is different. Like there is actually this part over here. And then this part is the rivet in which you put your attach your accessories to the helmet, to the hard hat, I accidentally said helmet because usually people attach accessories to helmets more often than they attach accessories to hard hats. And then this one is for the chin strap. And unlike this, or this, which is flat, like completely flat, this part is actually curved. Not only that, it's also more intricately designed at the back, the front, as well as the top as well. There is the signature Pyromax design, which is like one-way arrows, I guess. I don't know what you even call those. So as you know, Denso and Master, they have 6-point suspensions, whereas the Pyromax, it actually has a 4-point suspension. And you could tell that this suspension is not made of plastic. It is actually more comfortable to wear. So obviously, this is more expensive as compared to the Denso or the U-Best that I have. And this all basically explains why, like the price difference. Increased cost for more comfort. And there is also a padding over here. Again, the ratchet suspension, which you could think of it as a doorknob. So here is the Pyromax logo. It's a little hard to read, I apologize. So same thing, 19 to 24, and this one, the arrow points to 22, so it's 2022. And this thing, it points at July, I believe. And if you look closely, even the suspension has the date of manufacture imprinted on it. Although when I zoom in, it doesn't really show it properly. 2022, and it actually points at 5, which is May 2022. So the suspension is actually older than the hat itself by about 2 months. Now, I can still wear this into a dangerous place, per se, because it's still within 5 years. So, okay, for most hard hat brands, the recommendation is that you replace your hard hat every 5 years or after your hard hat has suffered some serious damage to either the suspension or the shell. Then you would replace either or both. Although, to be honest, it's safer to replace both because a suspension is not that expensive in the first place. It's not like bicycle helmets or anything. Those are like damn expensive for some reason. So general recommendation is you replace it every 5 years. You've seen the cap style helmet hard hats. I mean, cap style helmets do exist, but then again, I speak faster than I think, so this is what happens. Okay, so just now you've seen a cap style hard hat. This one is actually a full brim hard hat. I mean, it's self-explanatory. It is literally a full brim. Although the brim is actually wider at the back of the hat as opposed to like the front of the hat. Now, depending on the manufacturer, some cap style hard hats are able to be worn backwards while others are not, so just check with the manufacturer. Again, for this one, it just so happens that the front brim is shorter, whereas the brim from behind is actually wider. Not from behind, I mean at the back. So unlike the previous hard hats that I've shown you, this one is actually kind of expensive. It's like above 300 USD or something. And the reason why is because the ones I showed you just now, they are all made of like just ordinary plastic. Like some basic polyester, I don't know what to call it, but this one is actually made of carbon fiber. You can see it. Like this is all the carbon fiber. And it's supposed to be it's supposed to protect you better, basically. Fiber metal hard hats also exist, like the ones from Honeywell, but this one is not fiber metal. This one's actually carbon fiber. I think carbon fiber is supposed to be lighter than fiber metal, but I could be wrong. But again, this one is heavier because obviously it's carbon fiber, not plastic, and it's a full brim, so yeah. The model of this is, I think it's by Lift, Lift, so it's a the model name is like DAX DAX 50. So unlike the caps hats that I've showed you just now, this one actually doesn't have the date of manufacture like printed on the interior brim. And yes, the reason why it's so expensive, like why it's branded, it's because of the material used to construct this, and then the suspension as well. It's made of different material, as you can see. it's just way more advanced. And yeah, you could see the carbon fiber actually. Yes, it's real carbon fiber. And all of the hard hats that I've showed you, they are considered type 1 hard hats, not type 2. Because if it's type 2, you would actually see styrofoam in between the shell and the suspension. I mean, you cannot just put styrofoam in between and call it a type 2 hard hat. It is still a type 1. Because for a hard hat to even be considered a type 2 in the first place, just to put it simply, the styrofoam has to conform to the shape of the shell. Like, you cannot just stuff it in. And not just that, it has to be like the correct kind of styrofoam used, like during the manufacturing process, for it to be able to absorb shock. And if you noticed, all of my hard hats are non-vented. They do not have vents. But don't worry, for the vented hard hats, their level of protection isn't compromised because you cannot just like saw or cut open the shell like this and then say, oh, those are vents. No, the vents have to be there during the manufacturing process. Obviously, without compromising the structural integrity of the shell itself, which would have impacts on protection in general. So again, there is pretty much no difference between a vented hard hat or a non-vented hard hat like this one. The only difference is that if you own a vented hard hat, it just allows better airflow and circulation to keep yourself cool during hot weather. In essence, like better breathability in that sense. Okay, what am I saying? Just better breathability. So type 1 hard hats, they offer protection from like falling objects like this. But then type 2 hard hats, because of the styrofoam padding, again, not just any styrofoam, but like actual styrofoam padding that's like properly manufactured and stuff like that, they also protect you from not just like falling objects, but kind of like lateral side-on collisions as well. As well as like when you accidentally trip and fall, like you hit it like this, like about like this. Again, I'm not hitting it very hard, it's just a demonstration. And then there is also separate ratings for like electrical conductivity as well. But in general, electricians or anybody that is working with pretty much live voltage, they are not able to wear vented hard hats. They all have to be non-vented, like this one. This one is not a vent, by the way. This is just a rivet to attach accessories. It's different. Again, in conclusion, hard hats in general, they usually do not come with the chin strap, but recently I've seen like Bullard, the United States hard hat manufacturer, even their latest, I don't know if it's just type 2, but maybe type 1 and type 2, their hard hats actually come with the chin strap available. Like, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure if you actually have to purchase them separately or not, but they are kind of like advertising, oh, the chin strap is actually comfortable and then it offers this kind of protection, that kind of protection. I don't know the details, but yeah. Because some people have the misconception that, oh, hard hats usually do not come with chin straps, whereas safety helmets come with chin straps. That's actually not true. It just depends on the manufacturer because let's say in Japan, their protective hats are like somewhere in between a hard hat and a safety helmet. Some of them are closer to a hard hat, whereas others are like closer to a safety helmet. But yeah, you don't actually differentiate them using the presence or absence of a chin strap, even though safety helmets by default come with the chin strap. But again, it's just a general trend, and there are some hard hats that actually come with the chin strap. Also, one thing to note is that I think almost all safety helmets, as opposed to like hard hats, they do not have such a wide brim. Like for safety helmets, they call it like a reduced brim or a reduced peak, like PEAK. I mean, yeah, that could be one way to tell, but the difference between a hard hat and a safety helmet, I'm sure there are videos explaining it on YouTube much better than me, obviously, because I am not a trained professional by any means. But it definitely has got something to do with like the suspension and the shell and how much space is in between it. Sometimes there's space, sometimes there's no space, and they are effectively like type 2 hard hats, but they are type 2 safety helmets in this case. Although the way you attach a chin strap to a hard hat versus a safety helmet, I mean, just generally speaking, it's different because for hard hats, you usually attach it here. For Bullard, I'm not entirely sure where you actually attach it to, but for most safety helmets, like they already come with the chin strap attached to like the suspension itself. Like you actually have to wear the hat, like wear the helmet with the chin strap. You cannot wear it without the chin strap. Whereas for hard hats, typically you can wear it with or without the chin strap. It's up to you. And most importantly, what kind of damage is the helmet or protective hat supposed to protect you from? And that's what differentiates between a hard hat and a helmet. Again, to me, these are more of like protective caps or hats, like if they're full brim, as opposed to like being a helmet per se. But again, that's just the way I perceive it. Like, is it supposed to protect you from like falling objects or like lateral collisions or stuff like that, like from all angles with no dead angle, blah blah blah. That's what they usually say. This hard hat here is a Bullard S51. Correct me if I'm wrong, it's an older model, obviously not the latest model, so it's pretty much rare outside the US. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. And then you have other brands like MSA V-Guard, the famous one with the V shape on the top of the shell. That one is like common around the world except in Japan. Like an MSA V-Guard is actually considered rare in Japan because most protective hats in Japan actually come with the chin strap, regardless of whether they are closer to a hard hat or a safety helmet. So if you actually ever see someone wearing a hard hat without a chin strap in Japan, or even like a hard hat brand that's like from the USA, that is actually considered rare. I've actually seen it once. Like a legit Japanese construction worker wearing it.